a boxer from the USSR imprisoned in a concentration camp, was appointed to the fight against a champion from Germany. In this fight, the boxer demonstrated excellent fighting technique. This video talks about this. Andrey Mikhailovich Borenzenko was born in 1920 in the city of Tashkent. The athlete with a strong spirit and the two-time champion of Uzbekistan in boxing was drafted into the Red Army in May 1941. He served in the Kiev military district, where he met the beginning of the war. Soviet troops couldn't defend the capital of Ukraine. In the second half of September, the four Soviet armies found themselves in a terrible Kiev boiler. 532,000 Red Army soldiers were surrounded. One of them was Andrey Borzenko, who was in an enemy captivity after 2 injuries. He was in the Stalag concentration camp until the end of 1941. The conditions of detention in the concentration camp were terrible. The prisoners were fed only once a day, and they quickly turned into dystrophics. After 2 unsuccessful attempts to escape, Andrey Borzenko was sent to the famous Buchenwald concentration camp. The deputy head of Buchenwald was an avid boxing fan. He ordered to find the strongest athletes among the prisoners. The leadership of Buchenwald arranged boxing matches every week. The prisoners of war fought not only among themselves, but also with local guards, and sometimes with professional boxers who served in the SS. Boxing helped Andrey survive in this terrible concentration camp. Borzenko fought with the Poles, Hungarians, and also with the Germans, who wanted to measure their strength with him. Soon, Andrey became the best boxer among all of those who participated in gladiator fights behind barbed wire. Borzenko had excellent skills. He was mobile, tactically competent, and had an ace up his sleeve. That is, a powerful uppercut from his left hand, thanks to which he completed almost all fights with a knockout. In one of the matches, he knocked out the German criminal who was the champion of Hamburg before the war with his famous uppercuts. This gangster, who at large liked to participate in underground boxing fights, was sent to a concentration camp for repeated robberies and murders. None of the prisoners had any desire to go to the match against a huge robber whose weight exceeded 100 kilograms. Therefore, the German guards decided to give the winner not only the traditional award, a loaf of bread, but also a can of stew. The prize was very valuable. As a result, Andrey Borzenko approaches the ring. The fight has begun. The German giant, whose face was covered with scars, immediately rushed into fight. He wanted to finish the fight with one blow, but his plans were not destined to come true. The weight of the Soviet boxer was less than 20 kilograms, but this didn't prevent him from successfully repelling all enemy attacks. German guards made bets on the German, but in the second round, the German bandit was sent to a deep knockout by a Russian fighter. Everyone, from prisoners to guards, applauded Andrey. The invincible Red Gladiator greatly irritated the Nazis. Andrey was reduced in rations, beaten, and threatened with execution. And once they broke his leg with a butt, because of which the prisoner couldn't fight for 6 months. Andrey Borzenko had the most intense match with the Buchenwald concentration camp against the German heavyweight champion among the SS troops named Willy. The so-called death match. This match had not only great sporting significance, but also political and moral significance. It was a sacred confrontation between 2 worlds, 2 systems. The match between the German giant and the exhausted Russian fighter was very difficult. Andrey was almost exhausted, and by some miracle, he repelled the crushing blows of the enemy, including illegal blows, the meanness of which the judge didn't pay attention to. Willy was angry and wondered why this emaciated and hungry half-skeleton is still resisting him. Andrey then recalled that he was afraid that he would hardly last another round, and then he decided to go to the trick. After another series of powerful blows from the German, Borzenko pretended to be almost defeated and staggered, and when Willy was about to finish him off, Andrey used his crown uppercut to the right jaw. The carcass of the German crashed onto the platform of the ring. Complete silence reigned. The German spectators were in bewildered silence. Why the Nazis didn't punish the Soviet boxer who knocked out their champion is still a mystery. In the concentration camp, Andrey Borzenko won a total of about 80 victories and never lost a single match. The boxer stayed in Buchenwald until the liberation of the concentration camp in April 1945. In the end, he continued to fight for the motherland until the end of World War II, and then left for Tashkent. He can no longer box at the same level due to a crippled leg in the camp, so he trained as a medical surgeon and saved people's lives in his hometown of Tashkent. Shortly before the collapse of the USSR, the Soviet boxer was awarded a certificate of participation in the Great Patriotic War. Andrey Borzenko lived a full life. He became one of the city's leading surgeons. He was the first in Uzbekistan to begin performing complex heart surgeries. According to the recollections of those who knew him, he was a very kind and sympathetic person. Andrey Borzenko died in 1992. Here is such an interesting story about a real man. If you like this video, then put like. Write your opinion in the comments and subscribe to our channel.